Hey, it's Eric Crawford from WDRB Sports, and this is another rapid reaction, this time to a Louisville football loss, and haven't had to do one of these for a while. Louisville had won 4 straight games heading to Clemson earlier today. Thought they might have a good shot against the Tigers, who lost a week ago at Notre Dame, really struggled, had their playoff hopes dashed. You never know how a team's going to bounce back after that. Well, Clemson bounced back strong. They win this one 31-16, and Louisville never really seriously threatened in this game, although it didn't play terribly. But Clemson looked dialed in. They scored on their very first offensive drive and seized the initiative in this game. And Louisville just looked beaten up from the very start. When Malik Cunningham comes out and his non-throwing hand has a huge glove on it and wrapped up, it looks like he's wearing a Mickey Mouse glove to play the game. Louisville just was conservative from the very outset. Their offense was 3 and out, and it didn't look like it bothered them too much. Frankly, if you ask me, and I don't think this is like a conscious strategy, although it might be. If this had been a prize fight, Louisville would have been the fighter that was blocking all the time, just trying to get through the round, to get to the next round, just trying to survive till maybe you get late in the fight where you can throw a punch that makes a difference, or score some points with some jabs or whatever. You may like that philosophy, you may not, but for whatever you think, I think it almost worked. It was doing well. Louisville was not playing a pretty football game, but it was 10-7. They were down only a field goal late in the first half. A couple of things then happened that I think really changed this game. First, Louisville got called for pass interference. Josh Minkins, I thought it was a bad call. Probably most Louisville fans thought it was a bad call. Clemson fans loved it. You got a wideout and a DB just fighting and slapping back and forth a little bit on a ball that goes over the receiver's head. Minkins gets called for it. A Clemson drive that would have stalled had that penalty not been called now is extended, and Clemson goes on and scores a touchdown before the half. That makes it 17-7. That's a whole lot different story than 10-7 with Louisville with the ball coming out to start the second half. Second thing that happened before halftime, of course, Louisville gets the ball back after that interception, and they drive past midfield. One last play with 2 seconds left in the half. Malik Cunningham drops back, and instead of throwing the ball away or whatever, he takes off running. And I don't think this was a called pass play. Could have been. Looked to me like he just took off. Either way, he gets tackled hard on the sidelines, injures his throwing shoulder, and is out for the rest of the game, which is not what you wanted if you're the Louisville coaching staff. Although I'll say this, he was so limited in the first half with that bandaged hand. He was completely out of the running game. You take the running game away from him, it really limits what he and Louisville's offense are able to do. So he hadn't been all that effective, only 160 yards total for Louisville in the first half. But now he's hurt, and we don't even know what his status is for next week. Louisville comes back in the second half with Brock Dolman. They don't do anything on their first drive. Clemson marches down and scores on its first drive. Now it's up 24-7. And a very talented defensive front for the Tigers is able to just start teeing off. They pin their ears back. They bring the rush, and Louisville couldn't handle it. They just wasn't anything they could do with it. The Clemson defensive line is the group that dominated this game, and the Clemson pass rush really kept Louisville from getting anything going, even though Doman came in and in the end ran the offense pretty well despite that pressure. He did pretty well. The Cardinals wound up with 250 passing yards and 400 yards of offense altogether. They scored a touchdown. They got a field goal during the game and then scored a touchdown the very last play of the game to make it look a little better. When the day's over, Scott Satterfield, he's disappointed with the loss. They didn't tackle real well. Beyond the scoring drives to open each half, though, you can't really knock Louisville's defense that much. To win this game, it needed to be dominant, and it just wasn't able to be. He was proud of his effort, and here's what he told reporters after the game.
Their defensive line, I thought, played really, really well tonight. Gave us some problems up front offensively. They brought a lot of pressure tonight, with their linebackers as well, and getting in our backfield. Really couldn't get anything going offensively. We were sputtering here and there, but not a whole lot getting going. Thought our defense played really, really hard tonight. Created some turnovers. Even when it didn't look great for us, they still fight and getting turnovers. And really proud of them. We still had opportunities in the second half. We still had opportunities. We didn't make the most of it offensively. And I thought, we're beaten banged up a little bit right now, and we don't have many receivers, and of course Malik got beaten banged again, and but I'm proud of our guys. What I told them in the locker room, we're really proud of how they continue to fight. When things are down and out, they have not given up, and they didn't lay down, and they didn't tonight, all the way to the last play when we threw a touchdown pass. And so I'm proud of them. We got to regroup. We got to come back tomorrow and get ready for NC State. You know this.
Okay, if you're looking for bright spots in this game for Louisville, I think Tyler Hudson is where you go first. The guy had 11 catches for 163 yards, and on the last drive of the game, he made some absolutely phenomenal catches. They didn't mean a whole lot because the game was already decided, but he was really good. Running back Jawar Jordan runs 11 times for 73 yards, had a 44-yard run, and frankly, Louisville's most effective plays against Clemson's blitz were run plays, where they were able to get runs and kind of crack them up in there between the gaps, what have you, and able to evade the blitz. And they had a little bit of success running the ball, 150 yards rushing, just not enough. Dolman came in and played well, 13 to 23, 175 yards, 1 touchdown. He also threw an interception with 5.5 minutes left. That, if Louisville scores there, they're back within a score, would have made a difference. That was pretty much the end of the game right there. Areas of concern for Louisville. The main area of concern is injuries. Tyon Evans gets banged up early, and Louisville's down to 2 healthy running backs that play regularly. They're down to 3 wide receivers pretty much the whole game. Tyler Hudson, Braden Smith, and Marshawn Ford, and all those guys play well. So now Louisville gets NC State. The Cardinals are 6-4. They still have a chance to finish strong. They have NC State. They got a shot in that game. They got Kentucky. Kentucky lost to Vanderbilt today. They've got all kinds of issues. That game gets more interesting every week. Louisville, to me, struggles against teams that are a lot bigger and a lot more physically stronger, athletic, that kind of thing. And that's what Clemson was, particularly on defense. That's what Kentucky is, particularly on defense. So they've got to find a way to come up with enough offense and to come up with the kind of defense they need. I mean, they forced enough takeaways today. They had 4 takeaways in this game, but they just couldn't get it done otherwise on offense, and they got to find some answers. They need to get healthy. We don't know what Malik Cunningham's status is for NC State. Should be an interesting week for Louisville. They're in the thick of it as far as finishing with a good record, getting to a better bowl. These last 2 games will be interesting. Today, not so much. But again, it's not a game, if you're a Louisville fan, that you probably penciled in as a win at the beginning of the season. Probably didn't pencil it in too much as a win at the beginning of the week. You just hope that Louisville can kind of heal up, come back home, get themselves as healthy as they can get, and come out and play well against NC State in the home finale. That'll be on Saturday at Cardinal Stadium at 3:30, senior day for Louisville. For today, it's bad news at Clemson. For the Cardinals, they fall to 6-4. This has been the Rapid Reaction from Eric Crawford at WDRB Sports.